Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck to pull it. It can buy me a Yeti 110 ice down with some silver bullets. Yeah, and I know what they say, money can't buy everything. Well, maybe so, but it can buy me a boat.
Well, there you have it. The world famous money can't buy you happiness, but in our world, it can buy you a boat or a yacht. Welcome, Matt. So good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me. What an awesome intro. That was great.
Such a great song. A little bit about me. You already know who I am, but I'm Kim Swears. I'm I've been a boat boss for 2 decades in South Florida as one of the owner operators of FB Marine Group in South Florida, one of America's top 100 dealerships. What is Boat Boss? It's a show where we bring on people like you, Matt, that are the movers and shakers from around the globe, and we talk about living, working, and playing on the water. And the best part about it is you're going to tell us your secret sauce to your success. So, Matt Gruhn, president of the Marine Retailers Association of America, welcome to the Boat Boss.
Thank you very much. This is great. I love it. I love that you're doing this.
Well, good. Well, how's Minnesota? I know, it's a little rainy here in South Florida. I'm inside a 62 Pershing, so what a great day at my office. So tell me, what's it like in Minnesota right now?
I'm definitely jealous. I'm here in my my dining room, but we are looking out the window at snow. We got 7.5 inches of snow the other day. That's a record snowfall for us this early. So yeah, we're not doing quite as well sitting on a 65 and enjoying the sunshine up here.
So you're an outdoor guy. I see a lot, thank God for social, because how would we know each other besides, when we see each other once a year, but you have kids and you're always on the boat. You're an outdoor sort of guy. So tell me what your interests are outside of your dining room and your office.
Yeah, no, we spend a lot of time outdoors. We've got 2 daughters, 2 teenage daughters, 16 and 14. And we spend a lot of time camping and hiking and of course boating. I love this story, but my daughters came to me. School got canceled back in March, and they came and they said, "Hey, will you take us fishing?" And I was like, the first time ever that they've asked, right? And you got teenage daughters. I feel like maybe I was doing something right somewhere along the line, coming to me asking me to take them fishing. So yeah, we ended up upgrading the boat this year, and we spent a lot of time on the water. So it's definitely a passion of ours.
Well, that's fantastic. You know what? I found my passion when I went to the Pacific, Casa Vieja Lodge, and fishing is now my passion. So it's never too late to find your passion. So good for them.
No.
Good for them. So tell me, you come from journalism, I understand, and now you've gone to the Oval Office of the boat business, as I say. So what the NADA is to the car business, I think, and I'm sure a lot of people agree with me, that's what the MRAA is to us. So tell me your progression from where you were to where you are now, and what is MRAA?
Yeah, that's a great analogy, the NADA to the auto industry. And that's what we do. Our role is really to help take care of boat dealers and help them be as successful as possible. That happens in a lot of ways, but from my vantage point, I came into the industry. I was actually a young journalist on the personal watercraft side of the business. I was working for a magazine, worked my way up through that, and ultimately our company ended up buying Boating Industry Magazine. And I was the only editor in the office who actually owned a boat. So it was a pretty easy transition for me to get over there. But, then I was learning the trade side of the business, right? I mean, I came up on the consumer side where we were talking to consumers about which boats and so forth that they should buy. Learning the trade side in the business was a unique opportunity. And so spent a lot of time studying boat dealerships and how they find success and working with them and talking with them. When I was over there, we ended up contracting with the MRAA to help them run their annual conference. And so I was running that conference for them for a few years when my predecessor here at the MRAA retired. And I applied for that role. I knew the organization's #1 revenue generator inside and out. had a vision for where we could take the organization. And interestingly enough, when I walked in for my interview with the board of directors here at the MRAA, I knew 18 of the 19 people in the room already because I'd been working with them for a number of years. So, you know, my passion has always been how we can help dealers be more successful, whether that's protecting them through our advocacy work, whether that's helping them, you know, through educational programs or whatever. It has been a sincere passion of mine, and that's really kind of what has brought me over here and has helped kind of fuel our success.
Well, I have a saying, and this I think defines the MRAA: constant evolution.
Yeah.
And through, you know, what you guys feed me and all, and there's 5,000-6,000. How many dealers are there in America right now? Do you believe?
3,600 in the
3,600. And you probably know about 3,600 of them, right?
Pretty close.
There's not too many cities that you can go to and not know somebody. So,
right.
Thank you for all you do, you know, on behalf of myself, and I'm sure on behalf of all the other dealers out there. You know, we can't thank you enough for what you do and what you bring to us.
I appreciate
so
that.
Let's dive into it. Let's dive into the pandemic. You know, I remember March 18th was the D-Day for us when they closed everything down, and we're like, what do we do? I think WTF was probably, I kept going, what the heck is going on? And I'm sure your phone was ringing like crazy. A lot of dealers didn't know what was going on. So share with everybody where we were as an industry pre-pandemic and now where we are post-pandemic.
Yeah, well, so I'll give you one snapshot story that I'm sure you'll be able to relate to. And then I'll kind of give you what got us to that point. But we had the sky was definitely falling right in March. Like you said, it was the 18th there. It was like the 12th here in Minnesota. Yeah. And our phone started ringing off the hook. And there was a lot of panic, right? I mean, we all remember the Great Recession and what that did to the boat business. And people expected that, you know, just at the point that they had taken in their inventory, just at the point that they were really hitting the peak of selling season, everything shuts off and we got to figure out how to work from home. So one of the dealers had called and said, you know, this is going to be a horrible situation. And, you know, I'm fortunate I've got some money in the bank that's going to help me get through this, but it's going to, I mean, I think the words he used was it was going to be a bloodbath. Mm-hmm. And by the end of May, he called back and had talked about this record month that he had and how it had more than made up for whatever had lost. So that, I think that kind of describes in a nutshell of what happened. But, you know, here at MRAA, we refocused at that moment and said, we're going to reorganize our entire team and we're going to start, we created this kind of process where we had a third of our team was on an outreach team. And we called every single one of our members.
Wow, that's great.
And simply with a question of, how can we help? What do you need? What can we do for you? And then that team reported to our education team, and our education team built resources and publications and courses and that sort of thing. And then we had a marketing team where, you know, if one dealer was telling us they had a need for this particular resource, certainly there was hundreds, if not thousands of others who needed it as well. So the message went out loudly that way. And just one example of that, because I could talk about it for hours, but one example of that was here in the state of Minnesota, we had a dealer who had connected with a senator and said, we got to get our businesses reopened. We've got boats to deliver. We have people to get on the water. Everybody's wanting to get out right now. And the senator, and he copied me on the message to the senator. And the senator said, well, I can help, but not unless you have a plan for how you can reopen your business safely. And so I was fortunate because we'd been talking to all these dealers and I was able to say, we have a plan and here it is. And it was we created a publication that said, it was called How to Operate Your Boat Business Safely. And it was a step-by-step guide of everything that you needed to do. And we sent that to the senator, and the next week Minnesota opened up. And we've got
huge.
Yeah, and we've got examples of that. Somebody had the ear of the governor in New York the day that they shut down marinas and dealerships in New York. Somebody called and said, hey, we're working with the governor's office. Do you have anything that can help? We sent them the publication, and literally the next day they were reopened. So that's kind of the snapshot of what happened and what transpired. And of course, today,
Mhm.
we're
Yes.
all
Yes.
faced with shortage of inventory.
Yes.
We
Yes.
had more customers than we could handle in many cases, and things have been.
Yeah, you definitely see it. We have boat dealer row, which is Federal Highway here in South Florida, and I was on it today, and there's so many dealers, and you can definitely see the shortage of inventory. But at the same time, so many more people are on the intercoastal. I live on the intercoastal, and the traffic is insane. Registration is up, I believe, 35%. I heard a statistic like that. So people are happy. Boating makes people happy. So get out there. If the message that we can, sell anyone on a message is get on the water.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
let's talk about, my why is cancer. As you know, I had breast cancer years ago, and I didn't ask for it, but I used my platform to be a voice for cancer and to eradicate this disease. I sit on the board of Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa. But what you guys do at the MRAA is you are our voice in Washington. You have done a fantastic job of taking our concerns and heading up to the White Castle, as we call it, and you share with them. You meet with the people that are running for office. Tell us more about what is BoatPac, its mission, and what are some of the things you're working on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So, and timely with BoatPac. So BoatPac is the boating industry's political action committee. It's a way that we can build support for the industry, and ultimately we can support champions of boating on Capitol Hill. And it is a mechanism for us to contribute to campaigns and to candidates for federal office. And we really work through that on a partisan basis. We're supporting candidates that support boating, and it's a way for us to get a seat at the table in really important conversations that impact our industry. Outside of the BoatPac program, we have an advocacy arm where we're working on issues all the time. A couple things as an example, this whole idea of the Restart Act and the stimulus that we're kind of waiting on and so forth. We're trying to get more support for businesses that have been hardest hit through the COVID crisis. We actually worked super closely with Senator Rubio's office, where we talked about this Prepare Act that he has introduced. And we worked really closely with him on writing the language of the bill and so forth. But the idea behind it is to protect small businesses like ours that are very close to the water. For example, very well, we've got all these hurricanes and so forth, but to protect those small businesses from natural disasters, to help give them pre-disaster loans that can help them prevent their businesses from being devastated by those types of disasters and so forth. So there's that component of it, but man, we're working on so many different things: fishing issues, wake surfing issues. There was an issue that came up this year called Right to Repair, where we worked on legislation in 44 different states. There's boat tax, sales tax issues. There's so many things going on at any one time.
You're busy.
Yeah, it definitely keeps us very busy. But that's what I mean when we talk about the advocacy and working to protect our member businesses, right? And make a better environment for them to operate in.
So where do we find out, obviously, the Restart Act, you mentioned the Prepare Act and the Right to Repair, and where do we find information on this stuff? I know where to go, but maybe there's somebody that wants to look into it. Tell us where they would find that information.
Yeah, certainly. I would welcome anybody to reach out to me at the MRA, and it's super easy. It's just Matt at MRAA. Adam Fortier Brown is our lead government relations manager, and he is the one who's most active in Washington. He's simply Adam at MRAA, but you can find a lot of this information on our website, MRAA.com, in our news section. Again, there's a lot going on and there's a lot moving at any one time. So it's
really great to know that we have a voice in Washington. So thank you to your team. I had dinner with Adam in Tampa last year. Great guy. You're very fortunate to have him on your team. So keep up the great work.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you may know this, we had dinner with him, but he's actually came up in a boat dealership family, and his family still owns dealership. So really having a true advocate for our businesses has just been really helpful, really powerful for us.
Absolutely. No, definitely. He's lived it and walked it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's shift to the Marine Certified Dealer Program.
Yep.
And I used to eat a lot of hot dogs when I was a kid. So there's a saying that one of them, Hebrew National Hot Dogs, that says we adhere to a higher standard. And I remember when you awarded me with, or our dealership with, one of the best places to work in the marine industry, I had used that comment that what is this program? And I explained it as that we adhere to a higher standard because of what you have set, the groundwork that you have set. We take all the tools, we squirrel them back to our dealership, and we roll them out. And so explain to the world why the program is so important and how it benefits the ultimate boat buyer.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point to end that question with, is the whole program was designed to benefit the boat buyer. I mean, literally the whole program was designed to help dealers understand how they can build a better customer experience. And so the program itself starts off with a consumer commitment where the certified dealers make a commitment to what they will deliver for the consumer. I would really encourage any boat buyer out there to ask their dealer to live up to those standards. But then to help them live up to those standards and those requirements, we built the program off of 3 pillars. The first pillar is your systems and processes, to help you put in processes that work and that help you remain efficient in the way that you operate. The second pillar is employee engagement, so that the employees know through those processes what you expect of them. And they know what to expect from you, and similarly, so that the customers know that you're going to be consistent in the way that you operate, and they know what to expect. So that employee engagement is a very key point. So there's the pillar of operations, the pillar of the employees, and then of course the third pillar is the customer focus. And what are we doing to track and trend customer satisfaction, provide them with an experience that's worth referring to other people, that's worth coming back for another boat and service and so forth. And the whole program is built on that premise that if we can continually improve our dealerships, and there's a continuing education program part of the certification, as you know, that we can do a better job of keeping people in boating and bringing people into boating in the first place.
Yeah. Well, like we always, we just talked about constant evolution, and that's pretty much what that whole program is all about. We are big at processes and procedures at FB Marine Group, and it all is because of you guys. I drive it home every day. We have a nightly managers call, and I, talk about it time in and out, because it's all because of what you've done. So again, thank you for that. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
All right, let's talk about your Super Bowl. The word I call it, you guys do such a great job. This is Dealer Week. We have a bunch of photos that we took from the event, and this is your amazing team at the top, the power team. When I walked into last year's Dealer Week and I saw the Envision sign and the stairs leading up to the event, the energy that I had was infectious. I was so excited to be there. And we were a little skeptical because there was obviously the separation between boating industry and MRAA. So we didn't know what to expect. But when I walked in and there was a sea of people, 1,200 people in your first year. I mean, kudos to you, Matt, and your team. I was just blown away. I'm sure everyone else was. So share with us what Dealer Week is.
Yep.
And how you grew it so fast. I mean, it was like huge. And then pivoting to now this year, you're going to an online event. How is that going to play out?
Yeah. So great question. So with Dealer Week, it's an annual conference. It's an educational event where we educate dealers on how to strengthen their business, how to grow their business, how to be successful. The interesting thing is, going back to kind of where we started the conversation, when I first got involved with MRA's annual conference under a different name and so forth with the conference, but we built the program from literally the first year, way back in, I think it was 2007. There were only 97 people at that event. And the next year we doubled it to almost 200. The next year it was over 400. The next year over 700. And what's interesting about that is that happened right smack dab in the middle of the recession, the worst recession our industry's ever seen. And what we learned, what I took away from that was when you build relevant education that has something you can implement, that our dealers can implement, people are going to respond to it. And so we've stood by that belief and that vision for this. And you saw the big Envision logo on the stairs there. And our whole approach with Dealer Week was, together, if we can envision a brighter future for our dealers, the entire industry is going to be better off for that. And our entire group of consumers are going to be better off because of that. And so this event plays that role. As we look at the transition to virtual, we like to use the word pivot, right? And we pivoted to the technology. And what I've been saying to my team since, okay, so let's back up. In March, when all the world was falling apart, South by Southwest got canceled in Austin, Texas, which is where we were supposed to hold Dealer Week. And at that point I said, well, okay, if that event is at risk, then we need to start planning today for virtual, but we're not going to pivot. And I think that was important in our conversations internally, because the education that we deliver, the ideas, the best practices, the strategies that we deliver through Dealer Week, it's really platform agnostic, right? I mean, we can do it in person and it's fun and it's exciting and we can hug each other and shake hands and meet new people and all that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, the education that you guys can take home and implement is really powerful. And we can do that, frankly, even better in a virtual environment where more people can access it. There's not the cost structure of having to travel, of having to stay in a hotel for 3 nights, bar tabs and that sort of thing, right? And so you can do it in a way that people can access it and retain it for a lot longer. So we're excited about Dealer Week moving online. I think you can expect, even when we return to a in-person format, that there still will be an online format that we'll be able to share with people.
Well, during the pandemic, I know that we relied on the courses you were offering for us to grow ourselves personally and professionally and take it back to our dealership and our internal customers, which is obviously our employees. So you've proven that it works. You've got it down. So I'm sure it will be a huge success.
Yeah.
So where do people find out more info about, how to attend, where to get, registration, all that good stuff? Tell us where to go.
Yeah, real simple, dealerweek.com. And that's just it's the name of the event. It's our annual conference, just dealerweek.com. Excellent.
Okay. So tell us your secret sauce to your success. If you can say the one thing, like mine, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed early, but I go to bed at 9. I wake up at 4. So, Monday through Friday. So what's yours? Like I get a few hours more in a week. What's your secret to your success? Can you say?
I would absolutely suggest that my secret is actually not much of a secret. It's my team. I mean, it really is. The team that we have, they are, to the individual, are so passionate about delivering for this industry. They are so focused on success and making sure that we deliver on our mission and our vision. We've created our why statement together. We've created our vision and our values and everything side by side, and we live it day to day. I think the hardest part of this whole pandemic issue has been we've been working at home since March, and it's easy for us to do that, right? We're not out in the retail environment like you guys are, where you have to be there in person. We can do this from home, and so we've been doing that from home, and it's just been really difficult to have that separation from one another, where we can't really find the click, right? Where we've been clicking together and so forth. So
so your team, as I say, teamwork makes the dream work. That's a great statement, and your team is everything. I know that when I walked on to this 62 Pershing, it's one of our clients' vessels, and I want to give a shout out to Tony. Our team we have a yacht management department that manages vessels after we sell them, or even not. And I walked in and I was totally amazed at how well they did. And they treat products and their clients, you know, vessels like it's their own. So you're right. You're nothing without your team. Shout out to my team. You guys rock. You know, I love you guys. And so Matt, I love your team. I love everything that you do. And thank you for being on the Boat Boss. Let's encourage as many people as we can to get on the water, live life on the water, and have purpose and passion doing it. Right?
Yeah,
That's what we're here
absolutely.
for.
Purpose and
All right.
passion.
Well,
Thank you so much.
We'll see you in December.
Yes.
Are you? Will I see you at Flibs next week? Are you coming down to
I
Fort
will
Lauderdale
not
Boat
be
Show?
on the clubs this time, but absolutely see you in December.
All right. Awesome. Well, have an epic day. And again, thanks for joining us on the Boat Boss.
Thanks so much, Kim. I appreciate it.
Take care, Matt.